Part 3, does God want you to move to a new city? I moved to San Francisco for the second time. And I had forgotten all about, I used to live there. And I was visiting on a business trip, and this crazy, again, God and his little, this crazy peace fell on me. Like it was honey dripping on me, like from, I don't know. It was just like, oh my gosh, it was overwhelming. So it caught me off guard. So I was there on a business trip. So I left, went back home to Houston, came back. So I've lived in Houston multiple times and left and came back. But anyway, I took out a hotel room for a week to see God, to go, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here? Why do I have this? So it was super funny. I moved into the hotel room had a prayer closet. It had a window in it, and it had a desk. And I think it even had a little Bible on the table. Like, I've stayed in a million hotel rooms. I've never seen a closet that was a prayer closet that had a window and a little desk in it ever. So God has a sense of humor. So I just walked around, and it was just like this peace was just overwhelming me constantly. So then I went back, got an Airbnb for a month, came back, did that for a month, and sought God and stayed around there, and God started to speak to me. Like I got a dream I got multiple dreams and confirmations. Like for one confirmation was this peace that was wooing me to come, that there was something there for me that I needed to experience. That was number one. Number two, I had a dream of this exotic flower that was very unique that I'd never seen, that in the dream, my pastor handed it to me. God uses a play on words. The pastor's name was Ben Young. If you're in Houston, you know, from Zinco Baptist. But anyway, that has nothing to do with the dream, but the flower does, but the name does. So anyway, then I opened up my daily devotional the next morning. That flower that was in my dream was in the devotion, and it said, this flower only grows in a certain region at a certain time, that it blossoms in a certain place. So that was just speaking just straight to my soul. And the Ben Young part is God does a play on words of be young, because I was dating somebody for a while that was way older than me, and just his ways rubbed off on me in the bad way, which you have to be careful who you hang out with, because their ways, and God is like, be young. I mean, so that was one that I had. Then the next confirmation was that I was reading in the Bible, Mary and Joseph, their final destination was Jerusalem. And so it was all about the final destination. So I, at that time, I couldn't get an Uber, so there was a cab. So it was a scary cab. It was dirty. There was trash in it, but I just needed to get back to where I was. And the cab driver keeps wanting to talk to me, and I'm like, I don't know, just leave me alone kind of thing. But we start talking about God, and he goes, I don't know, but I've had this sitting on my table. This is what the cab driver says. I've had this sitting on my table for 2 years. And today I felt like I was supposed to bring this into the cab to give to somebody today. And I'm like, and he handed it to me, and it was a bookmarker. He went to Israel, and it was a bookmarker that said Jerusalem on it. So that was sort of another little sign for me that God was just saying, I'm calling you here. This is your final destination of where you're going to live. So God did all these confirmations to confirm that, hey, I'm supposed to live in that city. So then the next time was to wait this time I had to, it was sort of not a step of faith. It was like I had to wait till one of my business deals closed, and that closed. And then I moved to San Francisco, and that was like my confirmation. So I hope this helps somebody who is thinking about moving to a new city. So that's how God spoke to me.